What's going on, people? Welcome back to the United Stand. In fact, good morning. It's a 10 a.m. show. This is my first ever 10 a.m. show. It feels a little bit different. I'm used to doing like 2 p.m.s, 4 p.m.s, but today it's early morning, 10 a.m. It's an amazing, beautiful day in Manchester. In fact, let me know in the comments, where are you guys watching this from? Because obviously right now it's 10 a.m. in Manchester, but it could be 12 p.m. in another country. It could be 6 p.m. somewhere else. So let me know, where are you guys watching this from? But listen, it's been a while since I've done a solo show. I've got a lot of things to talk to you guys about. In fact, it's been a while since I've done a show in general. I've been in my producer bag recently. I've been behind the scenes, you know, fixing the cameras and whatnot. Oh, there's a lot of countries in there. Cape Town, Perth, Qatar, New York, where's it? Nairobi. Wow, 5 p.m. here in Singapore. See, so look, it's good morning for me, but it could be good afternoon or good evening for a lot of you other guys. But listen, let's talk about football. There's a lot to discuss today. By the way, Mark is having a little bit of a break. He's a bit tired. You know, he gives you guys shows every single day, sometimes 2-3 times a day. So, you know, let him sleep in a little bit. You know what I mean? Let him sleep in, chill with the family a little bit. We've got other presenters in the building, so we can always fill in for Mark when he needs to. Wow, there's a lot of countries coming in the chat right now. Bangladesh, Ghana. I'm from Ghana, so big up all my Ghanaians out there. Indonesia. Where else? Hungary? Where? There's a lot of places anyway. But listen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone watching. Let's talk about football right now. So, the first topic that we're going to go into, as you've seen on the title and the thumbnail, it's about Bruno Fernandes. Now, Bruno's obviously been probably one of the biggest talking points this season for Man United. I mean, any player who gets 2 red cards in a row, they're going to be spoken about a lot. They have to be, because that's a lot to do. As a captain for any team, I know, you know, Roy Keane was a bit hot-headed sometimes. I don't think he got 2 red cards in a row. I don't think he got 2 red cards in a row, but Bruno Fernandes obviously has. Now, the article that I'm going to read from, it's from Mick Brown. Now, he's a former chief scout at Manchester United. Now, he dismisses any rumours of a fallout between Bruno Fernandes and Ten Hag, despite the player's recent dip in form. Now, a lot of people, obviously, we've seen in the past how some of the players, when, you know, the manager's coming up to the end, not the end, but a really, really rough patch. And we saw it a bit with Mourinho, we saw it a little bit with Oli. You can kind of see how the players might down tool, and the performances, you know, not necessarily due to ability, but just due to energy levels or just the way how they're playing on the pitch, it kind of decreases. And a lot of people put that down to the players not wanting to play for the manager. Now, in my opinion, when I look at professional footballers, I just think every single game, you're going to want to go out there and give 100%, especially if, you know, you're getting paid a lot of money to play football. There's no way you're going onto that pitch thinking, I don't really like my manager, I'm not going to give 100% today. I don't believe that, in my opinion, personally. But there's obviously been a lot of people speaking about how they feel like the fact that Bruno Fernandes has, 1, had very poor performances, but 2 red cards in a row. Now, yes, they were harsh red cards. I can 100% admit that, very, very harsh red cards. But 2 back-to-back red cards, it can't just go under the cover. We can't pretend that it didn't happen, because it definitely did. Now, look, the reports from Mick Brown says, it wouldn't surprise me if the players were getting frustrated. I don't believe Bruno would have down-tooled. However, people have said maybe he's not playing for the manager, but that's not what I'm hearing. And I haven't heard anything about a disagreement between them. He hasn't been at his best form since the start of the season, that's for sure, but it's not through a lack of effort. Now, I'm going to pause there. So, the reason why I'm going to pause there is there's a conversation that I had recently with one of my friends who's a United fan as well, and we were speaking about the differences between coaching and ability. Now, let's interact in the chat, yeah? Let's actually have this debate. So the reason why we were having that discussion was, I feel like there's a lot of players who, ability-wise, they're up there. They've got all the ability in the world. They can do pretty much whatever they want. Bruno's one of those players. I think Rashford's one of those players. There's quite a few players, not just at Man United, at other teams as well, that even Sancho's a kind of one of those players, you know. He's not the most perfect player. I'm not trying to say that, but he has the ability there. However, coaching is what unlocks the best out of most players. You can have a player who is kind of average. Let's be honest. A lot of players in the Premier League that are kind of average, but because they play for a good team, under a good manager, in a good system, and they're just being coached the right way, how to play football, they can come across as one of the best players in the league, even though ability-wise, they might not be anywhere near that. I feel like coaching is so important. Let me know in the comments though, do you feel like coaching brings out more ability in a player than just raw technical talent, like just raw talent? Do you feel like that is what brings out the most in a player, or do you feel like coaching is what will bring out the most in a player? Because in my opinion, look, I feel like the coach at United, well, under Ten Hag, I guess, hasn't been the greatest. And not only due to tactics, but due to, I feel like Ten Hag needs to stamp his authority on Bruno Fernandes. I feel like Ten Hag needs to tell Bruno Fernandes, look, we don't lose the ball in dumb situations. We don't just hoof it out when we're in our own area or we're in our final third or the first third of the pitch just because we want to get the ball out of the pitch. No, we play football the modern way. We try and play it out the back every single time we have possession in that part of the pitch. You look at other top teams, City, Arsenal, even like Bayern Munich. In fact, you don't even need to go that far. Look at Southampton, yeah? Look at Southampton, look at Crystal Palace, look at what other teams are there? Brentford. These teams are not obviously the biggest clubs, but all of these teams will make sure that they are not losing possession in dumb parts of the pitch. They will try their hardest to keep the ball any part of the pitch that they're in, even if in very tight areas, they will try their hardest to make sure that they retain possession. That's why Southampton has one of the highest possession stats in the Premier League, because it doesn't matter where they are on the pitch, the coach has said to them, look, we are going to keep the ball for as long as we can. I feel like Bruno Fernandes or Ten Hag hasn't, let me not use the word forcefully, that's a bit of an extreme, but he hasn't stamped his authority on certain players to tell them, look, you don't lose the ball whenever you feel like it. Ten Hag should say to Bruno Fernandes, I don't want you to just hoof it away or just try and get an assist just for the sake of it. I want you to try and keep the ball for as long as you can. And if the opportunity does arise and you can see it doesn't have to be a simple pass, it can be a risky pass, but it's a pass that you think you can make, then you go for that pass. But until you get to that point, keep the ball. Ten Hag needs to instruct Bruno Fernandes, and not just Bruno Fernandes, there's other players on the pitch that do lose the ball a lot, but he needs to stamp his authority onto that pitch. So let me know in the comments. Also, be sending in your super chats. Let me know your opinion. Do you feel like I said, coaching is genuinely one of the most important things? A lot of people are talking about Onana in the chat. That's definitely another player who, look, coaching-wise, look, I mean, he used to play for Ajax anyway, so it's not like Ten Hag and Onana, they don't understand the same style of play. But he's another player who does hoof the ball up long, try and get it to Rashford or try and get it to the striker, when, as a coach, you should be telling Onana, look, try and keep the ball. As soon as you hoof it, it's 50-50. Anyone can get the ball. You completely lost that possession that we were supposed to keep. But look, you should be trying to keep the ball as much as possible. Let me read the rest of the quotes. So Mick Brown said, if he had stopped playing for him, that would be a very bad sign. But as far as I'm concerned, nothing has happened. Again, though, it's how he's being asked to play and what his role is in the team that's causing issues. That's pretty much what I was trying to allude to before. I'm sure he's just as frustrated as some of the fans are with the way he's been playing and the results of the team. Look, that's literally kind of how I just described it. I feel like another part of the story is, look, Bruno Fernandes is one of the players for United where he puts in effort. I don't think anyone can deny that Bruno Fernandes is trying. You know, anyone who like goes to games sometimes when you watch it on TV, you can't see what every player is doing just because the camera might just be focused on whoever's got the ball. But if you go into games, you can see Bruno Fernandes is non-stop running, non-stop. 90 minutes. I don't know where he gets the energy from, I'll be honest, because he just runs literally for the whole game. But he's a player who, regardless, he's putting in 110%. And look, I'm grateful for that. I'm pretty sure most United fans, a lot of you guys watching, you're probably very, very grateful for that as well. I don't think anybody complains about that side of Bruno Fernandes' game. But like I said before, it's just the instructions. Where are you running to? There's no point just running for the sake of running by yourself, chasing lost balls and chasing players, and you're not getting anywhere. You're not winning the ball back. If you're going to run, let's run in a structured way. Again, back to coaching. You press together as a team. You trigger press. You do all these things. You half press. You full press. These are all tactical instructions that will allow Bruno to keep the same energy, but he's doing it in a more systematic way. And it doesn't seem like he's just running for the sake of running. In fact, me and Ricky had a little debate. He posted it on his Instagram. This was like a few weeks back. And we were talking about who's a better player, Rashford or Martinelli. Now, I don't even want to get into that discussion right now because people are going to, I could tell that people are going to be, it's very, well, from what I saw in the comments anyway, Ricky was very, very, bent on Martinelli is the better player. Rashford, and I was saying, Rashford is the better player. And this kind of relates to this conversation about coaching versus ability. Because I feel like ability-wise, Rashford doesn't even compare to Martinelli. I feel like Rashford and Martinelli I don't think anyone even debates that. But it's the coaching. It's that coaching side of it. The pointers that Ricky was given was Martinelli tracks back. Martinelli keeps possession. Martinelli makes better decisions. Martinelli, plays better in the system. That's all coaching. That's literally all 100% about coaching, whereas the points I was giving for Rashford was purely based on ability. And like I said, someone said Martinelli's cheeks. I don't think he's the best player in the world. I don't think he's terrible though. I know a lot of Arsenal fans don't really like him, but I feel like they just give up on their players very quickly. Lloyd Dingle, member for 15 months, said Erik ten Hag in for at least 1.5 years. Just because United fans need to understand how time works and we need a bit of structure and not just tactics. So an extra 1.5 years? Wait, do you want him to stay in for an extra 1.5 years? Or are you saying that, because he's been in for 3 years anyway, so an extra 1.5 years, I'm hearing he's got 2 games. I'm hearing that Ten Hag literally has, Brentford and Fenerbahce, which that's not easy games at all. Not easy games. So he's got 2 very difficult games, pretty much to save his job. I feel like every game, let's be honest, every game from now is to save Ten Hag's job. And look, in my opinion, that is the worst position that you can be in as a manager. If every single game is your last game pretty much, I feel like you've lost already. That's why for the last few weeks, I've kind of been Ten Hag out a little bit just because I feel like the writing's on the wall. The writing's on the wall. It's a bit too far gone. When you get to this point as a manager, it's like you're on a lifeline. It's a lifeline every single game. You're 100% relying on your players now because it's not like you can teach them a different style of play. It's not like you can teach them different tactics and different system, bringing new coaches, or it's too late now. You don't have that much time. You've got the next 2 games to save your job. So your whole Ten Hag's whole Manchester United career is relying on those 11 players that are on the pitch. And I feel like at that point, it's a bit done, in my opinion. So that's kind of why I'm a bit Ten Hag out. Thanks for the super chat from Lloyd. Make sure you are still sending in your super chats. Let me know your opinions on everything that we're talking about. Let me know your opinions on Bruno Fernandes. Do you guys feel like Bruno Fernandes or the other players in the team are down tooling? That's an interesting conversation because, like I said before, I remember when Ollie, I think it was the Watford game. I know you guys 100% remember that Watford game. Was it 4-1? Was it 4-1? That was a painful game. I think even Ollie came out recently and he spoke, I think on Sky Sports or something, and he said at half-time in that game, he knew his job was done. And I think he said something like, he asked the players who want to play, like it's PE or something like that. He just asked everyone, was it 4-1 or 4-0? It was one of his last games, I remember. That was one of them chest-burning games. And I feel like that game is going to come. That could be the Brentford game. Let me not even predict that because I don't want it to be the Brentford game. I don't want us to lose 4-1 to Brentford. That's just another therapy forum for us to do. But it feels like it's coming back. It feels like it's coming back to that sort of period with Ten Hag. But like I said, let me know your opinions about Bruno Fernandes. Someone in the chat said, it's a combination of bad coaching and lack of intelligence. I don't think players like Bruno, Garnacho and Rashford have it upstairs. That's interesting, you know, because IQ, similar to what I said before, IQ is almost just as important, if not more important, than ability sometimes. If you're smarter than everybody else on the pitch, I've used this angle with Erikson. I remember before the Crystal Palace game, we were sat right here. I think it was me, Beth, and Daniel. Shout out Daniel. We did a build-up show, and we were discussing who the midfield three should be. And I remember saying, look, Erikson should play in this midfield. Erikson should play in this midfield. And look, I'm going to hold my hands up and say, at the start of the season, I'd written Erikson off. In fact, I didn't even know he still played for United. I thought he got sold. I didn't really care at the start of the season about Erikson. I can hold my hands up and say that. But by the time it got to that Crystal Palace game, I was calling for him to start because, and the reason why is literally, like that super chat just said, intelligence. It's that IQ of the game. Erikson doesn't get muscled off the ball because you can't get close to him. You can't. He's already 2-3 steps ahead. By the time the balls come to him, he already knows where the next pass is going to be and he's not holding on to it for too long. He's not trying to dribble past 2-3 guys. He knows that's not his game. He knows that's, a weakness in his game. So he's not trying to do all of that, but it's the IQ. It's understanding the game. And maybe Bruno Fernandes just needs a little bit more teaching and understanding of how football should be played. Something in the chat, these players get paid more than all of us in the chat combined. Facts. I mean, let me not say facts because I don't know who's in the chat. Yeah, I don't know who's in the chat. We could have Neymar in the chat. He gets paid more than everyone in football combined, so we don't know. But I've just lost that chat. Where did it go? These players get paid more than all of us in the chat combined. It sickens me that they were down to if they do. That's 100% fact. That's what I said at the start of the show. I don't believe for 1 second that a professional footballer, Premier League level footballer, is walking out on that pitch thinking in front of 70,000 fans at home, Old Trafford, wearing that United badge. I understand you might not believe in the manager. Listen, I play 11-a-side football every Saturday morning. Tomorrow morning I'm playing 11-a-side football. Shout out my manager, yeah, but he's not, Pep Guardiola. My manager's not Zidane or Ancelotti or Jose Mourinho. I'm still going to go out there and give 100% because I like to play football. Yeah, I enjoy playing football. And I feel like as a professional footballer, that should just be your default. That should be standard. That should be mandatory. You should always just go out there and give 100% because one, you enjoy playing football, and two, this is your job. Yeah, the same way this is my job, this is your job. You should go out there and give 100% because, like I said, it's work for you. It's not just a hobby. You should go out there and play for whoever is managing you. It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter if there is no manager. There could be a caretaker manager. We could have Rude in the next couple of months. You should still go out there and play 100%. So, look, I don't believe in down tooling. I think that's a bit of it's a cop-out for a lot of managers and a serious lack of mentality as well. People saying player power, the players don't have an issue with Ten Hag, the fans have the issue. One thing I will say about the fans is every time I've done a poll on Ten Hag in and Ten Hag out, we did it on one of the last shows, it might have been the last game or the Porto game, it was very close. 50-50, more or less 50-50. So I feel like it's just constantly just swinging like this. I know definitely before the FA Cup game, FA Cup final last season, it was like Ten Hag out, Ten Hag in. It was very much Ten Hag out. And then the FA Cup, we won the FA Cup and it kind of went like this. And it was, oh no, we all want Ten Hag in and Ten Hag out was like, those guys were kind of just hiding in like Twitter or something like that. They weren't really outside. And then it kind of like swung now, and now it's more like, it's a bit 50-50. Some people don't know. Some people are still kind of just waiting for results. Some people are just waiting for certain players. We've got a lot of new players in the team, so some people are waiting to see how certain players do. In my opinion, like I said before, I am Ten Hag out right now, but I'm not going to push it on anybody else, though. That's just my personal opinion. Erikson at 10 for a few games is not the worst idea. Who agrees? Who does agree with that, actually? Can we get a little poll, actually? Right now in the chat, I genuinely want to know everyone's opinion. Erikson at the 10 or Bruno at the 10? Yeah? Erikson at the 10 or Bruno at the 10? Who would you get? Because, like I said, it's actually very mixed now. I know Usman, he 100% prefers Erikson at 10. We all know Ricky. Ricky's been crying for Erikson to be in that midfield as a starting player for a very long time. But let me know, who are you guys saying, Erikson or Bruno? Because I'll be honest, if it's Erikson, that's crazy. Because the last few, maybe if you're going on recency bias, fair enough, but the way how people have been saying that, there's a lot of Eriksons in the chat right now. There's a lot of Eriksons in the chat. That's crazy, I'll be honest. That is very crazy. Because there was a point in the season where I think Erikson was starting. I think it was a Crystal Palace game. Erikson was starting, and the whole chat was like, why on earth is Erikson starting? There's no way Erikson should be starting. And now it's kind of swung, so it's actually interesting to see. Say what you want to say. No player in our team will get a place in the starting 11. I think you meant to put XI, not IX. IX, I don't think that exists. Or does that mean 9? I think that means 9. But yeah, in the starting XI of top 4 teams in the Prem, what's that? City, Arsenal, Liverpool. Who was the other 4th team? Chelsea? Probably Chelsea. No, I'm sure somebody will get in there. Surely. Mainly will get in there, 100%. Mainly will get into definitely one of those teams. Some people are saying neither. Some people are saying neither, fair enough. But if it's neither, then who is it? Because we've got to play someone. Someone's got to play in that. Super chat from Brendan Savoy. We have a director of football and technical director. What is their role with Erik ten Hag? When did they step in and say, yo, Ten Hag, no creation from the wings, and where is the midfield in any of the games? It's not working. What is the plan? Look, I'll be honest. I've been speaking about technical directors and directors of footballs for the last year and a half. Well, past couple of years. I have no idea what they actually do. I'll be honest. I thought that their job was to kind of like deal with like transfers and stuff like that. I don't know if their job is to actually tell Ten Hag, we need to fix this part of the pitch, or this side of football needs to be improved on. If that is their job, fair enough. Then yeah, the technical director and director of football do need to step in. There's been a lot of Eriksons in this chat. Somebody said Anthony benches Bernardo at City. You know what's funny about this whole Anthony thing is actually hilarious, because I always see TikToks of Anthony. It's like he's got like the biggest fan base at United. For some reason, he barely plays. But yeah, I guess Anthony definitely doesn't bench Bernardo at City. I'm not going to say that. Arsenal will take Rashi all day. Yeah, facts on the left. I agree with that. Erikson has better hero ball accuracy compared to Bruno. The fact that hero ball is even a thing, we shouldn't be playing hero ball. Who plays hero ball in 2024? Like we shouldn't have. Realistically, I just want to see United play a style of football where we can walk the ball in the net. Think about how like amazing that would be to see. Like obviously, a lot of you guys, most of you guys, I'm assuming, are United fans. Just think about how great that would be to just see our team just walk the ball in the net after a beautiful piece of play. We haven't seen that in so long. In fact, the last time I saw that was probably pre-season 2 years ago. There was a point in pre-season, like not last season, not this past pre-season, the pre-season before that. There was a goal, I think it was like Van der Beek scored it or Rashford scored it. I think Van der Beek might have set it up, and we literally walked the ball in the net, and I thought, you know what, is this what Ten Hag's bringing? Is this the style of football Ten Hag's bringing? Yes, we're about to cook. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that since, I don't even know. Moments FC, no tactics or coaching. Yeah, that's pretty much true. Pretty sure that Anthony fan base are trolling and being sarcastic. Yeah, obviously. Like, I know. I know, trust me, I know they're not being serious. Most of our players are not press resistant, not good on the ball. Most of our players, I wouldn't say most. I wouldn't say most. I feel like it's the players that just want the ball the most. I think that's literally it. Because I think Mainu is press resistant, Erikson's press resistant, Dalot's press resistant, Mazraoui's press resistant, Martinez is press resistant. Who's the other side? Delict. I'd say Delict is press. I don't know about that one actually. I have to come back to you that one. But I do think that there's quite a few players who are. Ahmad's definitely press resistant. Garnacho does hold onto the ball very well as well, actually. I feel like he only loses the ball when he tries to do something. I feel like if you just pass the ball to Garnacho and tell him to hold the ball, don't lose it, I feel like he's pretty good at it. I think it's the rest of the players that lose the ball a little bit. But anyway, let's move on to the next part of the conversation. So, Manchester United, in fact, let me just end it with reading out this poll. Wow. So the poll was, who should start at the 10, Erikson or Bruno Fernandes? 75% said Erikson. Wow. Let me know, actually, just why. I just want to know why. Just let me know, why do you guys think that? Is it based on, like, recent, like, as in, like, the last 3 games? Is that what you're basing it off? Or is this just based on who do you think's a better player? Do you just think, like, Erikson is just that he's going to keep the ball better, he's technically better, his IQ's better, he's a better footballer? Is that the reason why it's 75%? Or let me know. Bruno needs a rest, Bruno needs a break, Bruno needs okay, fair enough. Everyone's pretty much saying Bruno just needs a break. Bruno's form's off a cliff, Bruno forces a pass. It's true, he does force a lot of pass. He forced a lot of passes, sorry. More control of how the ball moves. That's true. That's true. Erikson sees the game better. Erikson, ball retention, smart plays, press resistant, cool head. Very, very true. If Bruno's not playing well, why should he start? That is, I'm 50-50 with that kind of notion of how football should be. I do feel like there are players in the world that even if they went through a run of 5-6 bad games, they should still play because they are still better than everybody else. I just don't think that's Bruno. I feel like there are players, if Jude Bellingham, or Rodri's injured now anyway, but let's say Rodri wasn't injured, if he had a spell of 5 bad games, I promise you he's still starting the next game. Yeah, Saka had a spell of 5 bad games, he's still starting the next game. I don't think that rule applies for every player, but like I said, Bruno's just not that player to have that kind of authority in the team. But yeah, let's move on. We spoke about Bruno for a minute now. So the next topic I want to talk about is Alvaro Fernandez. Now, anyone who doesn't know who he is, 21-year-old left back, currently playing at Benfica. He did come from the United Academy. I can't remember when he did join the United Academy, but United did. Well, we loaned him at first to Benfica, and they had a buyback clause. They had a purchase clause, or whatever you call it, for I think it was €6 million. And well, obviously this season they bought him, and they added a £42 million, €50 million release clause. So they very much value this player, and he has been having a very decent, very good season for them. In fact, he's been playing at a very high level for Benfica. And Benfica usually do produce or develop a lot of good talent. There's been serious players that have come out of Benfica. Now, because he's playing so well, and let's be honest, this United left-back saga, I should call it, has been going on for too long. Yeah, the United left-back mystery, this journey that we've been going on to have a fully fit left-back for a whole season, it's been going on for too long. It's genuinely been going on for too long. And look, obviously the conversation is United are looking to bring back Alvaro Fernandez, which, in my opinion, probably the best thing that we can do. Genuinely the best thing that we can do. I've been saying all season anyway, why did United not look at left-back in the summer? Like, is it because we didn't think, I say we, is it because they didn't think that Luke Shaw was injury prone? Like, did they think Luke Shaw was going to come back and play a full season? Did they think Malacia was going to come back? He didn't even when did he even leave? I can't remember when Malacia's last game was. Anyone in fact, that's a little game. Let's do a game with the chat. Put in the chat, what was Malacia's last game? Yeah? Someone just put it in the chat, because I don't think anyone even knows. What was Malacia's last game? But yeah, the saga with this left back position, it's been going on for a very long time. And one, he is young. He's a very good player. He's homegrown. And like I said, we just need cover there. Now, his last game was 2023. I just heard that from the producer. Who knows what the actual game was? Someone said 1945. Well, right at the end of the World War. That sounds like an intense game. Very intense game. 1938. That's just before the Second World War. 1817, when Shaka was born. May 28th, 2023. That sounds like a more realistic answer. Against Fulham, yeah, wow. Let me know how well he did. Yeah, I might have to go and watch his highlights. When last year does come back, I'm going to have to go back and watch his highlights from 2023 because I genuinely can't remember how good of a player he is. But yeah, United obviously want to bring back this player. And like I said before, the saga with not having a left back, especially now that Mazraoui has had this, I was trying to make a reel about this yesterday and I couldn't even get this phrase out. He's had a minor precautionary corrective procedure. Yeah, minor precautionary corrective procedure due to heart palpitations. If you didn't know, that's what Mazraoui's just had recently. I think it was, I don't know when it was, but he's literally just had that and he is going to be out for a couple weeks. It's unlikely Mazraoui will obviously be there for the Brentford game, which is next week Saturday. So we're literally stuck going up against Brentford and I'm literally struggling right now to think who we're going to play there. It's probably going to be like a Lindelof or Martinez. Maybe I've seen Toby Collier play there this season. I think it was against Brentford that we ended up having to force Collier into left back. Maybe just put Bruno there. Someone said put Bruno in left back. But yeah, no, the Mazraoui reports is not 2 months. A lot of people are saying he's going to be out for 2 months. It's not 2 months. It's, like I said, it's a couple weeks. So he might be out for the Brentford game. Likely he will be out for the Brentford game. But after that, he should be back for the Fenerbahce game. So again, another left back out of the game. Who are we going to play in that position? We're going to have to go back to playing centre-backs and playing DMs in left back. I remember we played, Amrabat literally started his Manchester United career at left back, which is pretty insane if you think about it. So let me know actually, who would you play at left back for the Brentford game? Because it is pretty much unlikely, like I said, that Mazraoui will start. Someone saying Anthony left back. I missed that game, innit? Did I miss that game where Anthony played left back? I don't remember this happening. Everyone keeps, I've been seeing this Anthony left back thing for ages. I just thought it was a joke. Did he actually play left back for United at one point? Or maybe I missed that game, I can't remember. But that doesn't sound like it works. Like, why on earth would that work? The fullback position, in modern football anyway, it's one of the hardest positions to play. It's so difficult. That's why you see players get caught out all the time. The fact that Aaron Wan-Bissaka got run out of this club, let's be honest, like if people liked Aaron Wan-Bissaka as much as, West Ham fans like him now, he would still be here. But he pretty much got, let me not say ran out actually, but a lot of people were saying they don't want Aaron Wan-Bissaka at the club because he wasn't good enough. If Wan-Bissaka's not good enough, why would Anthony be good enough as a fullback? You think he can defend? He's going to be playing left back. You think he can defend the best right wingers in the Premier League? That's going to be difficult, yeah. That's absolutely difficult. Because he's left-footed. Being left-footed just doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Get Brandon Williams back. I'm seeing a lot of Brandon Williams in the chat. Dennis Irwin, I don't think he can play right now. I don't think, maybe his fitness is a bit low. But Brandon Williams, man, where is Brandon Williams right now? Has he got a club? Has he got a club? I know he's not obviously playing for United anymore. I think he might be is he a free agent? I'm not sure. John O'Shea, Evra. Yeah, a lot of people are just saying random players. Now, Harry Amas, that's an interesting point actually. Harry Amas. Was he 16 years old, maybe 17 now? Look, if there was ever a point to just give, I keep hitting the chair. If there was ever a point to just give someone an opportunity, that there are over 16-year-olds playing in the world, and I'm not even saying Harry Amas is as good as them, but they got the opportunity. That's all I'm saying. Those over 16, 17-year-olds, they got the opportunity and they took it. We will never know if Harry Amas is good enough right now to be even a backup fullback if we just never give him the opportunity. I'm a firm believer of just, look, games like the Barnsley game, games like, who did we play? FC 20. I know it's obviously Europa League, it's still an important game, but like sometimes these games where we should be winning. I know we didn't beat FC 20, we drew, we should have won anyway. Like that was insane that we drew that game, but give players opportunities. Give players opportunities because you will genuinely never know what you have hiding in the locker room, in the changing room, if you never see them play. Imagine if Mainoo never got the opportunity. Imagine if Ten Hag never said, you know what, I know he brought him to pre-season and He played decent before he got injured at pre-season. But imagine if after that he said, you know what, mainly go back to the under 18s, go back to the under 21s, under 23s, or wherever he's playing. I'll give you some minutes here and there. Imagine if we never saw Mainly. Our midfield would be cooked, yeah? Our midfield would be cooked every single game, but we gave Mainly that opportunity and he just, yeah, generational player. But look, if we never give these young players the chance to play football, and look, these guys, we've got a very good academy. We've got very good players in our academy, like decent players. The under 18s went, there was one game that they lost or one game they drew or something, but they were pretty much unbeaten for most of last season. That's Ten Hag should be looking at that thinking, I've got some gems in that team. I'm going to save a lot of money by looking in that under 18s team and looking at the players who are playing there, because you don't just go unbeaten for no reason. It's not an accident. So give these guys an opportunity. Someone saying give Collier a chance. Maybe not at left back, but I mean he has given Collier a few chances. Someone said Ahmad's going to leave. That's a whole nother conversation. Make sure you send in your super chat so I can read them out, and whatever topics you want to discuss, if there's anything you want to discuss right now, send in a super chat and we're going to talk about it. Someone said, I don't think Harry Amas is quite ready yet, but give him a go. Yeah, give him a go. Give him the opportunity. But yeah, so that whole story about Alvaro Fernandez potentially coming back to United. If we do want Alvaro Fernandez, United do actually have a buyback clause. They didn't specify it, so we don't actually know what that buyback clause is, but it will definitely be lower than the release clause, obviously, or else we just buy him. So whatever that buyback clause is, it will be lower than the £42 million. But look, we need him. We need him. Let's be honest. Next season, we could be looking at a team where Molasses, he might leave. He might just decide, you know what, I need a new, fresh start. Obviously, Mazraoui will still be there, but Mazraoui is a right back, so let's not forget that. He is a right back, so he technically shouldn't even be playing there anyway. And that just leaves Luke Shaw. So we're going to need somebody regardless, maybe even in January. Maybe in January, we might have to start looking at bringing in another left back. They should have gone for Sergio Gomez from City or Miguel from Girona. I don't actually know about Miguel, but obviously Sergio Gomez. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, right now we're in desperate measures, let's be honest. We never buy players in January. I mean, we got Bruno in January, probably the best January. I say best, I mean, the conversations now are not really looking like that, but Bruno's probably one of the best January transfers we've ever made, let's be honest. Some of these names I'm scared to read out because I know people have been trying to catch some of the presenters out on this show. I'm not going to get caught out. So, yeah, let me know in the chat any other left backs that you think we should be looking at in January or even next season in summer. So let's move on. Let's move on to the next conversation. Ooh, this is a juicy topic. So obviously the Ten Hag conversation, we spoke a little bit about it anyway, but we're gonna really dive into this conversation now. So the Manchester United hierarchy, when they were discussing about whether or not they want to keep Ten Hag. Now, if you don't know, after what was the last game we played? How have I forgotten? But after the last game we played, there was obviously a meeting. Villa, 0-0 draw to Villa. I remember now. 0-0 draw to Villa. There was obviously a meeting about Ten Hag's future that they had at their head office in London. They should have a head office in Manchester, by the way. Just saying. But head office in London, and they spoke about whether or not they should keep Ten Hag. And the reason why they didn't actually sack Ten Hag wasn't because this is the thing that I kind of got from this. It wasn't because everybody said we should keep Ten Hag. It was purely based on the fact that they just couldn't come to an agreement, which means it was completely split. It wasn't a case of, they had a majority vote to say we want to keep Ten Hag. Everybody wasn't on Ten Hag. The majority of the board, of the directors, were not on Ten Hag's side. It was too split that they thought, you know what, because we can't get to a final decision, we're going to have to keep him. But in my opinion, that can go either way. Like, surely, like, this isn't court. Like, you know, like how in court, it's like, you can't be found guilty until, like, everyone says, you know, everyone in the jury says you're guilty. This isn't court. Like, the fact that it's split, I feel like that still should say that still should be, there still should be it's just, they still should be able to come to the conclusion that Ten Hag isn't good enough for the job, even if it wasn't split. But the fact that it was split kind of says a lot, in my opinion. So, Ten Hag's job security. So Man United's recent poor form has led to a debate amongst the executives. Some of them were obviously advocating for dismissal, but no consensus was reached. Now, let me know in the chat. Look, people are still talking about, who are these players? Emma Pose? Emma? Are these real players? Am I being trolled right now? Am I being trolled? Are these real players from Villarreal, class left back? Maybe I just don't know ball. Maybe my ball knowledge is just terrible. I had to go and do my research, my serious research. But yeah, some of the talking points that they did have in the meeting was about the critical upcoming matches. So like I said, Fenerbahce and Brentford, 2 very important matches. Injury concerns, I mean, the fact that, you know, Mazraoui is, a heart palpitation, in my opinion, first of all, let me just say, that's a serious thing. Like, your heart, like, you're being injured, yeah, your leg can heal. Can your heart heal? That's a deep question, actually. Can your heart heal? But like, I feel like our heart palpitations, surely this is something that the medical staff should have done like tests on. Like, if there's any chance that something this serious could happen, because look, that's one of those. Can you even call that an injury? Is that even an injury? Can you call that an injury? Because it's something to do with your heart. That's an internal thing. That's something that, like, it's not being caused by anything on the pitch. It's not being like, it's something that if it triggers and if it, you know, gets worse, you can't. There's no you can't play. There's no like healing process. You've got heart palpitations. You've got to have surgery. You've got to sit down for a minute and make sure that nothing comes up. Because the last thing that we want is for Mazraoui to be on the pitch and he's having heart palpitations. That would scare a lot of people. Let's be honest. We don't want to have that. Like, so the fact that that is an injury, I call it an injury concern, but it's a bit. Someone said it's definitely an injury. Can you call that an injury? Like, is that really an injury? But yeah, I feel that it's such a intense, I don't know what to call it. I'm going to call it injury just for the sake of an injury. That, first of all, it should have been looked up, it should have been found by the medical staff. And secondly, it's something that you just can't take lightly. The fact that we're bringing them back in a couple of weeks, hopefully that means that will never come up again. Hopefully that's what that means, because if it does, then that's something that we should definitely be looking at and thinking, okay, we can't take any chances with that. Also, Ten Hag's record was discussed. He's got a win percentage of 56.8% across 125 matches. I think that's lower than Jose Mourinho. So let me know in the chat. I genuinely think that's lower than Jose Mourinho. So look, anybody who wanted Jose Mourinho out, yeah, it says it on the screen right now. Matches played, 125. Wins, 71. Draws, 19. Losses, 35 losses. I genuinely think that's worse than Mourinho's record. It might even be worse than David Moyes' record. So, look, if those managers were getting sacked for having a terrible record, but they had a meeting about Ten Hag and they thought that was okay, yeah, I don't know. I think that's a bit... Numbers don't lie in it. Like, we can talk... Ten Hag can talk about his trophies and all that, but the numbers, the facts are there. Your win percentage, 56. Wow. In fact, can someone let me know, yeah? Look, I feel like I just used the chat as Google. Can someone let me know, what was Sir Alex Ferguson's win percentage? Somebody Google it and put it in the chat. I'm so curious to know how big of a difference Alex Ferguson's win record was compared to Ten Hag's. Mourinho won 50. So in the Premier League, I'm hearing it was 65, just over 65% for Fergie. A lot of people are saying, yeah, 65.2%. And I'm guessing the 72 or the 76 is his overall. 76%, wow. Fergie was great. Wow, Fergie was great. We were so privileged. Oh, you know, it actually hurts me now that every time I talk about Alex Ferguson and I realise how good he was, and I look at what we have now, I'm thinking, how did we end up like this? We won 76% of games. 70, and that's his whole career. If that's his whole career, that means even during his I say bad seasons. What was a Fergie bad season? What even was that? What, when he came third in 2004 or something like that? Is that a bad season for Fergie? Because yeah, even then I don't think he was winning only 56% of games. United in terms of control, yeah, can't compare to Fergie, a lot more years and games. I feel like the more years Ten Hag has, the lower the percentage is going to go. Let's be honest, if you gave Ten Hag, how long was Fergie here? 25 years, 28 years, something like that? If we give Ten Hag 28 years, that percentage will be like 12%, let's be honest. Sure, a lot of people, someone said, sure, Mod isn't old enough to remember Fergie. I hope you don't mean me, old enough to remember Fergie, because I'm not 12. Like, I don't know how old you guys think I am. We had it too good, then we're getting punished now, facts. Yeah, that was such a great time. But yeah, Ten Hag has a 56.8% win percentage. In my opinion, that is abysmal. That's literally, in my opinion, that's just, you're winning like every other game. And even then, it doesn't even feel like we win every other game, let's be honest. Like, that one season, I guess, not last season, the season before that, probably pushed that percentage so far up that I wish I could know the win percentage from last season and this season. That would give me a better understanding of what Ten Hag's real win percentage is. Super chat from Kyle Robertson. He says 4-4-2 is the answer. Did England play a 4-4-2 last night? I didn't get to see the game, I was busy, but I saw somewhere that England, oh, was it a false 9? Okay, maybe somebody was just lying to me. 4-4-2 is the answer. To be fair, Fergie did evolve the way how we play football. He did obviously start off as a 4-4-2, that was just English football. But then as football developed, Mourinho came in the league with his different tactics, and Ferguson kind of thought, I need to develop as well. And he kind of went into that 4-3-3 formation. Stop living in the past. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm sorry. Like, you can't just say stop living in the past. Like, it was a good times. Like, I'm sorry. I can't just forget. Somebody said in the chat, Fergie brought us out of the wilderness. Ten Hag is helping to put us back there. Yeah. It is dark times for United, let's be honest. It's very, very dark times. Doesn't matter what the manager goes in there, it's the players. Chelsea said that the problem in the spine, and it is still there. It's a very good point. How many matches is Manchester United going to lose in the Premier League this season? Let's not do that. I don't want to even debate how many matches we're going to lose. That's a terrible debate. But yeah, let's move on to the next topic, actually. So, this one is about Manchester United's dressing room unrest. Now, earlier on in the show, we did speak about the players in the dressing room not playing for Ten Hag. Now, if you weren't there at the start of the show, I did make the point that I personally don't think that players would do that. Maybe, yes, their motivation in general just for football might decrease because they are humans, So because they are humans, your motivation does decrease every now and then. But I don't think they would stop playing football because they don't want a manager in. I think that's the worst mentality you could ever have as a professional footballer is to do that. But there has been some dressing room tensions, and Mick Brown, who, like I said, former chief scout at Manchester United, he has a following quote. He says, I don't understand the issue with Marcus Rashford, he's speaking to Football Insider. He says, in the week against Porto, Rashford played like the Rashford that we know. Now, anyone who watched that game, you'll know exactly what he's talking about super direct. He says it in here, running at defenders, causing all sorts of trouble, and he obviously scored that goal, which was a decent goal. Maybe the keeper could have done a little bit better, but look, you got to shoot. You don't shoot, you don't score. He then goes on to say, then he gets taken off at halftime, and you assume that he's picked up an injury. But when Ten Hag was asked about it, he said it was rotation. It's bizarre. Very, very difficult to fathom the thinking behind it. It's not the first time that's happened either. I've heard that there's been a few frustrations in the dressing room. Yeah, pay attention to that. Mick Brown, the former chief scout at Manchester United. So that means he's locked in. He knows everyone at the club. Let's be honest. He's speaking to people who are directly in the club. He has said, I've heard that there are a few frustrations in the dressing room because of these decisions and the way he's treating his players. The main issue with Ten Hag for me is trying to understand these decisions that he makes. All that sort of thing, talking about taking Rashford off at half-time, it just ramps up the pressure. That is very, very, very interesting because, first of all, like I said, this guy, he's not inside the club right now, but he definitely has very, very close ties to the club. So he's not just going to make up stories about United just like the same how other journalists just make up stories. There's a lot of them. We all know them. There's journalists that just make up stories. This guy's bringing sources directly from the club. And he is saying, like I said, I've heard that there are a few frustrations in the dressing room because of the decisions and the way he's treating his players. Now, this is this is such a recurring topic about Ten Hag, about his man management, the way he treats his players. That is one of the most important things about being a manager. Recently, I know I keep talking about Fergie, I'm sorry. All the people keep saying in the chat, stop talking about Fergie, so that's the old days. I can't not. I'm just going to use this example, yeah? So I think it was, what's his name? Kieran Richardson? Is it Kieran Richardson? He used to play for United. He's got a podcast, and he told a story about Alex Ferguson, and he told a story about how there was a point in his early United career when he was young, he didn't want to sign a professional contract for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason was. Sorry. So he didn't want to sign a professional contract. So he wasn't getting paid a lot of money compared to the other players. Compared to the working class people, yeah, he was getting paid a lot of money. But compared to the other players, he wasn't getting paid a lot. And there was a game, it was a Champions League game, and he was on the bench. And like I said, he wasn't earning a lot of money, but the win bonus in the Champions League at the time was about 12 grand, yeah, which in itself is mad. I didn't even know that. I didn't know the Champions League had like I didn't even know these guys were getting like crazy amount of money for win bonuses in the Champions League. And that was like 20 years. This was a long time ago, like 15 years ago, something like that. So imagine what the win bonus is now. No wonder they want to be in the Champions League. But yeah, the win bonus was like 12 grand, which for him was a lot of money at the time. And he told a story about how Alex Ferguson brought him on the pitch when they were winning the game just so that he would get that win bonus. And as he was coming on the pitch, Fergie literally said to him, like, go on there, go and run around for a little bit so you can get that win bonus. That is the best form or a perfect example of how a manager can boost the confidence in his players. So not only did Fergie know and understand the situation of all of his players, he understood the fact that Kieran Richardson didn't have a pro contract and that he wasn't earning as much as the other players. But he knew, during the game, he's thinking, how can I help my players to boost their confidence? How can I help the players that I have to give everything? Because after that game, Kieran Richardson was probably thinking, you know what, I love Alex Ferguson. I love this club. And whenever I get an opportunity to play, I'm going to give 100% because my manager, not only does he believe in me, but he has my best interests at heart. He wants to make the best decisions for me as a player, and not just as a footballer, but just as somebody who's working, like, as a human. He knows that I need money, and he's given me the opportunity to make more money. That is perfect man management, where it's not just about making subs for tactical decisions. Understand the players that you're working with. Understand this is how I can get the best out of this player. It's not just about, sometimes it's not just about tactics and not just, look, this player needs to play for his confidence. This is going to help. I understand the players that I'm working with. And look, the reason why I'm saying all this is because, you know, as we spoke about before, someone said he's getting £180 a week. That's not true. That's not true. £180 a week. Is that even minimum wage? Is that minimum wage? That's crazy. As a footballer, that's insane. That means he can't even go out because he can't even just about afford to go out. But yeah, like I said, Ten Hag, you're dealing with, let's be honest, you're dealing with a lot of, let me not say a lot, but a few, what's the perfect word to put? I want to say fragile. Yeah, Rashford, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, I don't mean to call you fragile, innit? But certain players who if you're not making the right decisions with these players, it could switch them off completely, yeah? And it could, all the progress that these players have made in, you know, building up their confidence and getting back to the player that they used to be, like someone like Rashford, somebody like Sancho, someone like Anthony, someone like Amad Diallo that we've been screaming about all season. Making the wrong decision, whether it's bringing them off at a certain point or just not playing them at all, like Amad Diallo, it could completely ruin their confidence. And as a manager, like I said, sometimes it's not just about tactical decisions. Sometimes when it comes to playing players, you're doing it for their own good, for that player's benefit. Let's get the best out of our players. And that is a big problem with Ten Hag. Someone said Ten Hag isn't Fergie, but it doesn't have to be Fergie. I'm just using Fergie as an example because I just know that story. It doesn't have to be Fergie. Other managers do it. Sunday League managers do it. Like, it's not only Fergie that does this. Loads of managers do this. In fact, every manager should do this. You should play to your players' strengths, or at least try and... Someone said Fergie kicked a shoot at Beckham. Yeah, he did do that. But Beckham still loves him, man. It's all cool. Super chat from LMP22KZ. Players can't moan about managers' decisions in game. No player can question that they don't understand management. If we kept Rashford on, maybe we don't defend enough and lose that game. Yeah, I mean, look, that is a good point, and I think that is one of. I think that was the reason actually why Ten Hag, other than rotation, one of the reasons why he said he brought on Garnacho was because Rashford wasn't tracking back and he wasn't pressing and defending as well as someone like Garnacho would do. So that's why he decided to take him off and let Garnacho play. But we didn't win the game. I get it. It's all good defending, and yes, defending does stop you from losing, but it doesn't make you win. And as Ten Hag, you need to win. Like, if Ten Hag goes and draws the next 2 games, and he's got 4 draws in a row, is that going to be enough to keep his job? No, you need to win. Yeah, you need to win. Sometimes, I don't know, you might have to just risk it. Sacrifice, risk it, and say, you know what? The player right now, which was Marcus Rashford in that game, the player right now that is giving me the best opportunity to win, I need to keep him on the pitch. So, yeah, I'm not trying to say that Marcus Rashford has any authority to say that he should play, because obviously he's not the manager. But I'm saying from Ten Hag's point of view, defending is important, but at the end of the day, like, you need to win games, and we need to have our most dangerous players on the pitch. He didn't obviously do that. Super chat from Carl Robinson. Sorry. Rash is a left-sided forward, not a winger, in my opinion. He's a left-sided forward, not a winger. I'll be honest, all these technical terms, they just don't mean nothing to me. Ricky loves to do this whole, he's a wide midfielder thing now, like he's Ryan Giggs. Ryan Giggs was a wide midfielder. Beckham was a wide midfielder. I don't think we play wide midfielders anymore. Like, the game's changed now. Like, they are kind of, I get what you're trying to say. They are players who, they're not necessarily just like straight forward. They do come in, they'll drop a bit deep into the pitch, and they do press with the midfield, or they do press in the middle of the pitch. But they're wingers, man. Come on, they're all wingers. Let's not try and complicate it too much. Rashford doesn't track back. He leaves too much space. Look, we can all agree. We can all agree that Rashford, in that game anyway, or in general actually, he doesn't track back as much as he should. In fact, what was a game recently? I was at the. What game was it? It was a recent game, and I'll be honest, Rashford was putting in a shift. I can't remember. It was a recent game. I remember watching it. I was at Old Trafford, and he was putting in a shift. And I was watching it, and I was thinking, has something changed? Did he get a bonus or something? Like, what's going on? Like, Rashford is putting in a serious shift. Like, but yeah, I understand he doesn't do that every single game, but he should. He should. Ten Hag should be pressing, like I said before earlier in the show, coaching. Ten Hag should be telling these players, I don't care what your name is, I don't care how much money you're making, I don't care about how many goals you scored, whether or not you're the captain, whether or not you're a leader in the team. You're going to run when I tell you to run. You're going to press when I tell you to press. You're going to do all these. I'm going to coach you in the way that I want you to play. Yeah, that's what Ten Hag should be doing to all these players. Someone said Rashford is a false winger. Rashford is a false winger. Okay, maybe that's just a new position. I just don't know. Best form of defense is attack. Is that the saying? I thought the best form of attack is offense. Maybe it works both ways. But yeah, listen, guys, it's 11 o'clock. Wow. Wow, it is 11 o'clock. I had one more thing I want to talk about, but I guess on the next show or next week when the Brentford game's on, I'll probably be in a forum. I'm assuming I'll be in a forum. But listen, it's 11 o'clock. Thank you guys for watching. Listen, I love doing these solo shows. Give me a bit of time to actually chat to you guys in the chat. There's a lot of funny guys in the chat, a lot of regular names that I always see in the chat. So big up to all of you guys that I'm always constantly seeing in the chat. Shout out to everyone who's here on this Manchester morning, this South African afternoon, this. Who would be in the evening right now? I don't know. You would be in the evening. Australian, is it the evening in Australia? I don't know. Probably, maybe. But thank you guys for watching. Like I said, my name is Mordzs, and I will see you on the next show.